Can strong core muscles and protect your back from pain and injuries? I got this question from one of my viewers, and in this video I'm going to share my perspective on this topic. And by the way, if you haven't watched my previous video, and be sure to check it at the link below. If you want to learn how to retrain your body and then movement safely and then effectively and then move better, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every week. I am Taro Iwamoto. I am a Feldenkrais practitioner with my backgrounds in athletic training, physical therapy, martial arts, and the Feldenkrais method. I have helped many people like you overcome and then move beyond the pain and the limitations. Now it's your turn, and let's dive in. First, I need to clarify terminology and to differentiate pain from injuries, because you can have significant tissue injuries and not have a pain, or you could have no injuries and then have a significant amount of pain. So the pain is an expression of the nervous system, and it is a way to communicate and to get our attention based on perceived threat. And so many factors influence the behaviors of the pain, and besides the physical stress and psychological factors and also social factors, they all influence a production and the behaviors of the pain. So core strength and then the pain behaviors are really, it's really hard to predict your pain or the expression of the pain based on just solely the physical stress. Many back injuries can be prevented and by proper use of your body, including your core. However, the effectiveness of the core strength for protection against the back injuries really depends on how it's used. And thus, understanding the proper role of a core is very important, and which is what I'm going to discuss next. And many people use core as an engine or force generator, but the core is really not an efficient force generator. Then what is an efficient force generator for our body? Hips. Hips are our powerhouse, an engine and a force generator. Hips can generate a lot of force and very, very efficiently. And it is the core's job to transmit that force that the powerful hips generate and through the spine, so that spine stays stable and strong. And next, I will have you do a short exercise so that you can really understand and feel the role of the hips and in the core, so that you can keep your back stable and safe and protected against injuries. So for this exercise, you're only going to need the wall or the doorway. And you can do this one either sitting in a chair or standing. So I'm going to do it sitting in a chair, and then I'm facing the wall. And first, go ahead and put your hand, okay, so the hand, I'm going to put my right hand on the wall, like so. And your arm could be a little bent or all the way straight, it doesn't matter. And then from here, so you have your feet on the ground, make sure you have your feet on the ground, and from here, and you're going to slowly and push your hand into the wall, And then the harder you push, and then the more working your core muscles you're going to feel, right? As you can feel your core muscles. I'm pushing a little harder now, and then I can feel my core muscles are engaged more. Okay, so you can think that, oh yeah, I'm using my core muscles to stabilize and keep my back stable. Sure, your core muscles are definitely engaged, and it is definitely important and necessary. But watch what happens here. So now, as you are, well actually, lift your right foot up a little bit. Okay, so now your right foot loses the contact with the ground. If you're standing, you can just lift your right foot up, and then you do the same thing, but now without having your right foot touching the ground. And notice what happens. And right away you notice it's a big difference. I don't have my power. I can't push as hard. I don't feel quite as stable. And it's impossible to push really hard. And then I feel myself and turning. Okay, I'm turning. The harder I push my hand into the wall, and then the more I turn my spine, my body. Why is that? Is I've lost my power generator, the force generator, my hip, right? Then as soon as I put my foot down, right foot down onto the ground, and then, so I'm actually generating that force of the push using my right side of the leg, right hip. So you can do this one intentionally and push your right foot into the ground and to initiate and generate that force. And then the force is generated by the hip, and then the force will be transmitted through your spine. So this is where the strength of the core becomes very important. If you don't have enough strength in your core muscles, and then as you generate more force with your legs, with your hip, and then your core strength does not match the strength of the hips, therefore you start to destabilize the spine, and this is when there is a chance that you can maybe strain your back, right? So the strength of the core has to match the strength of the hips. But the most important part is that you have to train and you have to understand that proper roles of the hips and the core muscles, right? And so that is, you don't generate the force with the core muscles, and that's not very efficient. If you are doing any motions that involve the rotation, then if you're thinking the core's job is to generate the power, generate the force, and then therefore having the strong core muscles will keep your back stable and safe. That's wrong, because as you can see, as you can feel, if you can't use your leg, you can't use your hip, no matter how strong your core muscles are, you are still going to end up causing a stress to the back, as there's no stability down below, right? So remember, the role of the core is to transmit the force that is generated by the hips. And then the role of the hips is to generate the power, to generate the force. So the proper core strengthening would be like training your hips and in your core together. Otherwise, you're doing all this strengthening and hoping that will protect your back against the injuries. That's likely not happen unless they are trained together. Hips and core muscles are trained together. So please, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying the core is not important. I am saying the core is important. The strength of the core is important. But how it's used is very, very important. When you use it in an improper way, it's not very efficient, and it's not really going to protect your back against that back injuries if you're not using your hips as a power and force generator. And you could still manage to cause a stress to your back. And repetitive movements involving the lifting, pushing, pulling, transferring the weight side to side. And you're constantly creating a stress to your low back. And over time, you could injure your back. Okay, so were you able to feel the difference? And do you have a better understanding of proper role of a core and then the hips? And then now that you have a better understanding and how they work, and you can start to apply your core and your hip into your daily activities so that you can protect your back from injuries. And please leave a comments and questions in the comment section below. If you want to improve your back pain, be sure to grab your free movement guide to pain-free back at the link below. Check out these videos, and if you like this video, and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe and share with your friends. Comment below how helpful you found this video was. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Happy mindful movement. Bye bye.